being given a runaround and all things are being thrown at the window without the president saying, ano ba talaga ang totoo?
If Zaldico does come home, do you think he'll get a fair trial and he will be secured?
Well, I hope he will get a fair trial. Being secured is another thing. So I doubt
Kasi
very
kung marami
much.
siyang alam, di ba?
Oo, I doubt very much if he will come home. Kasi mukhang dala niya lahat yung records niya, yung documents niya to be able to release, tables and all these names. The page of the GAB. It's like he has all the armaments to put down this administration.
Groups that are calling for the resignation of both the president and the vice president and to have a transition council instead. What are your thoughts on that idea?
My problem with the transition council is who appoints? Who tells them that you're only good for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? That will add up to the instability that you were saying. When you see rallies, and I think there'll be more rallies after November 30, that's actually a recipe for investors to hold back and say, what is happening in the Philippines? Can we do this? And in 2026, we're chairing ASEAN. So how would this play around these things? And then there is that talk about diplomacy and, the position taken by the vice president.
They will stop releasing damning videos if authorities will not cancel his passport. But PBBM said he does not negotiate with criminals. Meanwhile, Co's latest video also implicates the First Lady and her brother, Martin Araneta. But are these videos working to taint the reputation of the president? To answer this question and more, we will be speaking with Professor and political analyst Malu Tiquilla. Good morning, Professor Malu.
Good morning, Attorney Jimeno, and good morning to all your televiewers.
Let's start with the latest video release of Congressman Zaldico just yesterday, wherein he said that First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos and her brother Martin Araneta are involved in smuggling issues, being involved with rice importers, and Martin Araneta being involved in onion smuggling. Zaldico has also implicated President Bongbong Marcos himself and his son, Congressman Sandro Marcos. What is the impact of all of these allegations on Malacanang and PBBM's leadership?
Well, on Malacanang, Karen, it would seem that it's being destroyed. It's being rocked by all these insinuations. Insinuations that were used to be whispers from day one regarding the sibuyas and the bigas. And then lately, because of the budget of the son and the father. So the trust, I would think that it would be in the single digit now. And the business confidence is really low. So overall, not one has been directly answered by the president. And that is why the public has always been asking, confront it while you develop the cases and file cases, right?
Well, palagay niyo po ba, merong impact yung hindi pag-uwi ni Zaldico? The fact that he only says this in yung sa mga revelations niya lahat sa Facebook lang or sa videos, pero hindi siya sworn statement. And just this morning, I was listening to an interview of DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon saying that wag natin paliwalaan si Zaldico kasi hindi naman to sworn statement. Do you think na may impact itong mga sinasabi ni Zaldico kahit na walang affidavit?
Oo, sa tingin ko may impact yan kasi nabubuo yung storya sa isip ng tao kung ano talaga nangyari. May impact siya kahit hindi sworn affidavit dahil natutugma yung kwento, lalong-lalo na nung testimony ni Gutesa. May impact siya dahil lahat naman haka-haka dati, ngayon pinatutuo niya. So it is debilitating for Malacanang, for the institution of the presidency, and really they need to answer this directly.
Well, do you think the president is already trying to answer this directly in a sense that yung pagsagot niya kay Zaldico, yung recently, yung sabi niya umuwi ka na dito at dito tayo magharap, And he was accusing him of trying to blackmail him pagka hindi nila kinancel yung kanyang passport, ititigil daw yung paglabas ng videos, but he said he doesn't negotiate with criminals. Yung fact na siya na ngayon ang nagre-release din ng videos na yung presidente, and also giving updates about the flood control probe, palagay niyo ba this is a way for him to speak up publicly and answer allegations directly? Or is this showing na medyo nag-worry na sila, or they're getting desperate as well with all the issues that are coming up?
Well, Karen, looks like may worry na. The fact na nagpalit yung process nila ng communication at ang presidente na mismo ang humaharap at nag-explain on anything to do with the Mahiya Naman Kayo campaign. Unang-una, yung hindi nila gustong pabalikin si Congressman Ko kasi nung una pa lang may calls na ang public na i-cancel na ang passport. Pero ngayon nagpakatotoo siya at naglalabas ng mga kung ano-ano, dun nakakagulat. At tuwing release niya, may bagong elemento dun sa syndicate na nangyayari sa pamahalaan. Dun nakakagulat kasi hindi mo alam kung saan babagsak. That's why early on I was saying, he should come out with the full narrative so that the public is not held hostage with whatever narrative he wants to do. And we have, at a certain point, we have to be cognizant of the impact on institutions. We do not want the institution of the presidency to collapse. We do not want the institution of Congress to collapse. So all this add up to that. That's why I keep saying the president should be forthright. The Speaker Martin Romualdez should directly respond to the issues. And certainly we would want closure on these things because it's been what? Since July?
Yes, since July.
This is terrible for anyone in the bureaucracy, for any ordinary employee in the bureaucracy. The whole bureaucracy grinds to a halt because if I move and I decide, baka bumalik sa akin. So you see certain agencies just, floating and not really acting on their mandates.
Okay, but when you think of how this all started, nag-start nga siya sa, sabi mo nga, July, sa SONA, na Mahiya Naman Kayo. But I've had people asking me, what is the end game to all of this, Attorney Karen? Kasi nalilito rin sila. Ang iniisip nga nila, kung wala talagang kinalaman ang presidente, then it wouldn't come from him, yung statement na Mahiya Naman Kayo. But now, if his name is being implicated, including his family members, then what was his plan from the start?
That's what I said, I think, in one of the shows here, that it was not well thought of. The campaign of Mahiya Naman Kayo was just an afterthought, thinking that I can disassociate myself from the mess. But right now we see his name is being implicated on a daily basis. On every release of Congressman Ko, he is being dragged down, and there are no exit plans. I don't think the president even thought of, it will blow in his face, and it will blow on the family, on the first family. So, napakahirap yung sitwasyon na hindi mo sasagutin. Yung ayaw mong sagutin dahil hindi sworn statement. So, sabihin mo yung totoo. How do you control the narrative? You control the narrative by telling the truth. And that's the only thing that people would want to see and hear. Unfortunately, we are being given a runaround and all things are being thrown at the window without the president saying, ano ba talaga ang totoo?
If Zaldi Ko does come home, do you think he'll get a fair trial and he will be secured?
Well, I hope he will get a fair trial. Being secured is another thing. So I doubt
Kasi
very
kung marami
much.
siyang alam, di ba?
Oo, I doubt very much if he will come home. Kasi mukhang dala niya lahat yung records niya, yung documents niya to be able to release, tables and all these names. The page of the GAB. It's like he has all the armaments to put down this administration. Unfortunately, he is he is one who benefited from it. I don't see in his daily novela that sabi niya wala siya natanggap. Nobody would believe that,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So kay congressman ko, oo, tumira ka, pero sabihin mo rin talaga ano naging parte mo. Kasi parang hugas kamay rin eh. So lahat ng Pilipino nagtataka, bilyon-bilyon hugas kamay. So
at
medyo may
merong
problema.
mga na-discover na mga helicopters and planes that are either linked to him or that he uses, but are in the name of his company. PBBM reports that the Anti-Money Laundering Council has ordered the freezing of more assets of Zaldico. And this includes 2 helicopters and an airplane. DPWH has already recommended the charges be filed against former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Do you think that the AMLC will eventually also freeze assets of Speaker Martin Romualdez?
I hope so, Karen, because you have to be fair. You cannot be, siding with one just because he is the first cousin. But still, it takes time for them to move on the former speaker. Yun ang hindi ko maintindihan. When you look at things in the House of Representatives, nobody moves there unless blessed by the speaker. Nobody goes beyond their jurisdiction in terms of committee unless ordered by the speaker. So, I don't know why he is being treated that way. Probably he might have a role later on in this striptease that, we might be surprised if the speaker then says, you were involved.
Kung ma-filean siya ng kaso, do you think there will come a point where he will point to the president himself, should there be an involvement of the president?
I think that's part of the backroom negotiations happening as we talk. There are certain politicians who do not want their names included. There are certain politicians, contractors, who is questioning ICI and in the jurisdiction of ICI. So mahaba-haba pa ito. Pero hanggang saan? Meanwhile, balik tayo sa bansa natin. The economy is being trashed. The economy is in the doldrums. We are not getting the kind of economic traction that we want so we can develop as a nation.
Well, since pinag-usapan na natin, nabanggit nyo na po yung economy natin, when PBBM ran in 2022, one of his campaign slogans was, Pilipinas babangon muli. Our stock market had the worst performance this year. The peso exchange rate is at an all-time low and investments are down. So parang kabaliktaran ng babangon tayo muli. Do you think the government has a game plan to improve the economy of the Philippines? And do you think this new revamped economic team will do a better job? But before, Professor Malu, when President Bongbong Marcos ran in 2022, one of his campaign slogans was, babangon muli. Pero ngayon, we've had the worst performance of our stock market this year. The peso exchange rate is at an all-time low and our investments are also down. So parang kabaliktaran siya ng babangon muli. Do you think that the president has a game plan to make the Philippine economy recover? And do you think that this revamped economic team will do a better job?
Well, I hope he has a plan. But I don't see the fourth quarter being different from the third quarter. I think this will continue. And usually, pag first quarter, galit ang mga Pilipino dahil walang pera. Di ba? Nanggaling ka sa gastos, wala kang pera, magbabayad ka ng tax. That first quarter is critical. A good sign is the appointment of Secretary Frederick Go. But the first move, which was to cancel all LOA, was applauded by the business sector. So, but I don't know if he has the patience to deal with the issues of the economy. Very problematic in the series of factors that you mentioned was capital formation. We're negative. Why are we negative in capital formation? For the simple reason that there is no pump-priming of the economy. There are no infra projects. There are no BB, Build Better More. So yung babangon muli, sa tingin ko, siguro ang default nun, nalugmok ang Pilipinas, kaya babangon muli. Pero ngayon, mas lalo tayo nalugmok after 3 years. Yung ating GDP, we're like 4%, which is like not planned because
Yeah. This
originally
was below the projections.
5%, di ba?
Yeah.
5.5. So, paano mo aayusin yan kung ang problema ay business confidence? Yung confidence, nanggagaling yun sa tiwala. Naniniwala ka ba sa leader? At kung naniniwala ka, sige mag-i-invest ako, sige gagastos ako, sige mag-i-expand ako. Even domestic businessmen, they're not expanding, they're just waiting. Kaya nga ang parating sabi, Malu, saan tayo dadalhin? Sabi ko, sir, hindi ko alam. Kasi we don't see any plan.
So pag ganun nga, well, we have another rally upcoming in November 30. So for foreign investors, I know that's always a cause for concern na lagi na lang may rally, and so the perception is there's really a
Unstable.
lot of instability in the country. Well, yung call for resignation, dati si Professor Froilan Calilong said that here, sinabi niya sa At the Forefront, in case President Bongbong Marcos resigns and Vice President Sara succeeds, this would allow us to test her leadership for 2 years. And so by 2028, there would be a more even playing field among candidates for the presidential elections. What are your thoughts on
That's
this?
right. No? Again, we go back. If the president, there are 4 grounds: resignation, incapacity, removal,
Removal from office,
and,
that would be an impeachment.
the health. Oo. So 4 yan. If the president resigns, under our Constitution, it is the obligation of any vice president to be prepared. Ang hindi ko maintindihan dito, why are they now calling for the resignation of the vice president? Our Constitution says she assumes in case of those 4. Now, yes, the Constitution talks about you can call for both to resign, but there is no succession law yet. The Constitution has been there since 1987, and there were some who filed, but nobody really mustered enough support to make it a Republic Act.
Yeah, well, there are groups that are calling for the resignation of both the president and the vice president, and to have a transition council instead. What are your thoughts on that idea?
My problem with the transition council is who appoints? Who tells them that you're only good for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? That will add up to the instability that you were saying. When you see rallies, and I think there'll be more rallies after November 30, that's actually a recipe for investors to hold back and say, what is happening in the Philippines? Can we do this? And in 2026, we're chairing ASEAN. So how would this play around these things? And then there is that talk about diplomacy and, the position taken by the vice president. I think it's quite clear that we are in a multipolar world, and siding with one or the other doesn't work for the Philippines. So babalik ulit tayo dun sa, kung ikaw ang nahalal na vice presidente, respetuhin mo yun kasi kasama dun sa pagtakbo nilang dalawa is the ability to govern and the mandate or the responsibility or the obligation of the vice president to be prepared. Now that the vice president says, if it happens, I am ready. And all vice presidents should be like that.
Undersecretary Claire Castro, in response to what Vice President Sara Duterte said na she's ready should the president resign, said that based on that statement, si Vice President Sara is a political destabilizer. Ano po yung comment niyo?
Hindi naman yung political destabilization kasi hindi naman siya nagsabi na, umalis ka na dyan, ako na ang papalit, o mag-resign ka na. Wala. In fact, she was quiet. And she, you have a vice president who's very hesitant to be president, slide down to vice president, hesitant to say anything.
Si former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo is one of the presidents that was able to succeed through the resignation of her predecessor. And ang perception ng mga tao, close si PGMA kay Vice President Sara. Where is PGMA in all of this? We haven't seen her or heard from her in a while.
I think that's the recognition of the strength and the capability of the former vice president to be mixing and sensing people. It's quite clear that she is very much interested in this country. That's why she's still in the public office. And she wants a smooth transition. If ever something happens, we follow the Constitution. Unless we declare the Constitution to be null and void, and we work on the junta or transition. But
are you in favor of that? Kasi
no,
si
I'm not.
DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla said that they have identified several personalities involved in efforts to destabilize the
ito naman si Secretary
administration
John
through
Vic.
a military junta daw.
Mahirap naman yan. Mahirap yung military junta. At saka yung sinasabi na magsalita ka lang na resign is already destabilization. I think it takes more than saying resign to be known as a destabilization agent against this administration. So I think government should be very careful because you're already crossing the freedom of speech of everyone. I might call the president, resign, but that doesn't mean I want him to, the administration to fall. We just want a resolution of these things. We cannot afford to be floating and not knowing where we're going. Everyone wants to know, pwede ba ayusin nyo na? Kung sino yung kailangang ikulong nyo, and let's go on with our life. Kasi kailangan nating, kailangan natin individually to help out in this country to make sure that the economy doesn't fall.
Yeah. Well, lastly, we're out of time, Professor Malu. What would be your advice for there to be, as you said, kailangan natin ng some closure or stability? How can this administration take back some of the legitimacy or yung integrity to lead the country? Or restore confidence.
That's very hard because you need a president who tells the truth. If the president is not willing to engage with the public and say to the public, nagkamali ako, ito yung nangyari, then everyone will just throw whatever needs to be thrown at him because he doesn't want to be forthright. Napakahalaga ng isang presidente na matibay, may tiwala, to handle all the problems, which is economic. So, he just has to confront the issues head on.
Thank you so much, Professor Malu Tiquia. It's always a pleasure to have you
Thank
here.
you, Karen.
The latest targets of Zaldico's new video message are the First Lady and her brother, as well as Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel. President Marcos refuses to negotiate with Co, who allegedly offered to stop releasing videos if the government will not cancel his passport. Does this mean more damning videos will be released by the former lawmaker?